everyone. You're on Diversity TV. My name is Batoum. You are host of Discover Your Heritage. This is your heritage. But as usual, before we get into our journey back to Edmonton stories today, let's recognize and acknowledge that Edmonton is located on 26 territory of Indigenous people. And we thank our brothers and sisters for welcoming us here and letting us settle in this land that we now call home. Once that is said, as I just mentioned at the introduction, yes, one more time, we are going back to discover more of those Edmonton stories. And as we had in our first episode, we will be joined today by Sarah. Sarah who spent part of her life teaching history to children from all over the world. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me back, Emmy.
Okay, great. So you remember in our last episode, we discovered that, yes, Edmonton was relocated after the 1830 flood, and the site or the place that was chosen was the legislature. And then Edmonton was born on 1995, I think.
But we'll get there.
Okay, great. So today we are in this park, and I will let Sarah tell us why did she choose this park today.
Well, I chose this park because it has a couple of really great things happening. First of all, this is River Lot 11, but it's also called ΗNÜ Park. ΗNÜ is a Cree word, which means I am of the earth.
I am of the earth.
I am of the earth. So this project was actually collaborated with the Confederacy of Treaty Six Nations and the Métis Nation of Alberta.
Okay.
And it's curated by Candace Hopkins.
Okay.
And it was sort of a project that started in 2013, but opened officially in 2018.
Okay.
And the reason it's so significant is that, first of all, this is one of the original river lots that we're sitting on. You can kind of, if you look in the background, you can see the North Saskatchewan River.
A river?
Yeah, the river was really, really important to the settling of Edmonton as it stood. But this river lot was owned by Joseph Macdonald, who was Métis.
Okay.
And so that's why this site was chosen for the park.
Okay, so you just mentioned that the Saskatchewan River played an important role. Could you just give us like a bit of what was that?
Sure. So the river that Edmonton is settled on.
Okay.
First, it was a means of transportation for both the Cree and the people who came out to handle the fur trade. Okay. It was a source of water, which is vitally important.
For sure. It's a river.
It's a river for any settlement. Yes. You can't settle without water. And then it also was absolutely imperative for any agriculture that happened around here, right? That source of water, that's why we often see big settlements settle around sources of major water.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, so now back to the park where we are right now. And I remember you said that ΗNÜ means of the earth. Does that have something to do with a spiritual, I mean, does that have a kind of spiritual part of it?
So, Cree people believe that they're born from the earth.
Yes.
Very much so. And I believe that's why that name was chosen. It had to do with honoring the connection that the Indigenous people felt to the land here.
Okay.
And that they're continuously part of it. And if we look at the standing stone, it talks about how...
right here.
Yeah, it talks about how, like, before the land was a city, it was and remains a place for the Cree.
Yeah.
So I think the name was chosen to sort of honor that.
Okay. It's also true that spirituality most often is I have African cultural background, and yeah, this is something that really that plays a role in our life. And like when you talk about the land, usually the land symbolize the root. It means that this is where I'm rooted.
Absolutely.
People are allowed like just to stop by, have a look, and like put whatever they can put in to feel good. Because I think that most often, you know, such places are used for that. They may not have the same meaning for each of us, but everyone. These are here for everyone to try to, you know, like maybe try to connect one way or another.
I think the really interesting part about this park is that because it has six exhibits in it that are...
Six exhibits?
Yeah, that are specifically done by the Cree. So as we were talking about up there, we've got a bunch of statues and exhibits down here. These are all art exhibits from Indigenous artists all over Canada.
Yeah.
There were 16 that were shortlisted, and they brought it down to 6. And my understanding is that they're going to keep adding to this park over time. So we're going to start to see more come in. The park just opened officially in 2018. Okay. So we've got a lot more stuff coming. This one's sort of the title exhibit.
Yes, I was about to ask a question. Okay, so why are we here?
Okay, so this one's the title exhibit of the park. When you look at pictures, you're going to see this statue a lot. It's kind of a statue. It's the word fire.
Fire.
In Cree. And we were talking about spirituality up by the standing stones. There's a lot of spiritual meaning behind the word fire.
Yeah. We will let you try to find out exactly what is the spirituality behind the word fire. Okay, so do you have something else to show to our viewers, or you want to?
So the other really interesting exhibit for me in this park is the one that's over here.
Okay.
This one's actually a hide scraper. So
hide scraper.
Yeah, so they were used to scrape the hides when people hunted. They would they'd have to cure their hides.
Okay.
So they would scrape down the hides so that they could make clothing, or they could make furniture, they could make blankets, whatever it was that they wanted to make from the hide.
Okay. It's true that while going through the, while I was reading that little peg there, I mean, there is something that really hit me. It's just like it connects the past, the present, and the future.
Yeah. It really does, I think, because having it here in this park, for me, says, you know, this is where we came from, and where we are now. Yeah. And also, it's here to show us where we're going.
Okay, so you got it exactly as Sarah just said. This is where we came from. I just want to make sure that I'm right. Just correct me if I'm wrong. This is where we came from, and this is where we are now, and
history is where we're going, right?
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that with our viewers. So do you have another one, or it's not that there are a lot, there are many of them. For sure we won't do all of them, but just, you know, some of the statues that may speak or you wish people could see.
I think I'd want them to come and see the park. First, it's so beautiful down here. It looks over the North Saskatchewan, which is, you know, sort of like, it's also got sort of the if you look out that way, then, you know,
We have downtown Edmonton.
Downtown Edmonton. This is one
We
of the
have the Saskatchewan. We have the Saskatchewan
Right.
River.
And I think this view is on every postcard that I've ever seen of Edmonton, so it's worth coming down to
Yes,
see.
and it deserves it. I think
Absolutely.
it's one of the best view of our city.
I think so too, right? So this is a park that's well worth visiting. So I would love to just see people coming down, enjoying the park, going through the artwork that's here, and finding the meaning that they feel for themselves in the artwork.
Okay. Thank you so much. And this is exactly what we want to realize, you know, in Discover Your Heritage is really about like finding places, those stories, and like getting the meaning out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Basically. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. So now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna share a bit of the artwork that we have here with some of our French viewers.
Of course I don't mind.
Thank you. Bonjour. Hello. Bonjour, mon nom est Emilienne et vous êtes sur Discover Your Heritage. Alors, une fois de plus, dans cet épisode aujourd'hui, on a été rejoint par Sarah qui, le mois dernier, nous a raconté l'histoire d'Edmonton. Aujourd'hui, elle nous a amenés dans ce joli parc qui est presque au centre-ville de la ville d'Edmonton, et la raison pour laquelle elle nous a amenés ici, c'est justement pour nous montrer des objets d'art comme celui dont je suis, où nous nous trouvons actuellement. Alors lui, il est très intéressant parce que c'est un objet d'art qui a été utilisé par les autochtones ici et qui symbolise le passé, le présent et l'avenir. Alors vous avez compris, en réalité, comme on l'a toujours dit, Edmonton, tout le monde est bienvenu à Edmonton parce que oui, on se nourrit des histoires du passé, mais à travers des objets comme ceux-ci, effectivement, on écrit ses propres histoires avec notre origine culturelle ou alors notre héritage culturel d'origine, je dirais, et on prépare les nouvelles histoires pour les générations futures. This is all we had for you today in this episode of Discover Your Heritage. Thank you, Sarah, for walking us through this park and like getting us really share with the rest of the world all the artwork that we have here.
Oh, this is absolutely my pleasure.
Okay, so thank you for staying with us today on Diversity TV. Be the first to get our next episode, as we want you to come forward and share with the rest of the world, with Edmontonians, Canadians, and the rest of the world, the uniqueness of your culture. We are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. And our website is www.diversitymark.ca. See you next time. Thank you.